Hi, I'm Greg Esnouf. I'm the coordinator of the 2009 Fires Taskforce. I'd like to give you an update on things that are happening in the Royal Commission at the moment and things that are coming up. Recent hearings of the Royal Commission have focused on insurance and funding of the fire service and a number of systemic issues. The insurance discussion was about how insurance plays its part in funding fire services through the fire service levy, and that evidence has now been completed. The systemic issues that have been heard to date are mapping, where CFA and DSC gave evidence on what mapping systems they use in terms of mapping fires and producing maps for use in firefighting. There was also evidence on systemic issues on firefighter safety, and I gave evidence on CFA's safety first approach, all of the safety programs, investigations, near misses and the like. And I also got questioned about safety advisors and how they were used on Black Saturday, and the fact that there were a number of them that weren't in place. There's also evidence given on systemic issues on information flow. Tony Duck-Manton has given evidence on how the information unit works and how warnings are given to the public. Also, in Municipal Fire Prevention Planning Scheme, Rachel Thompson gave evidence on how CFA's municipal fire prevention planning arrangements are in place. And those hearings have now completed, with the exception of the information flow one, where Phil Beasley will be giving evidence on the 14th of April on how information flows within a fire, from the fire ground up to the incident management team and through the region and up to the state level. There's also been some hearings that have occurred recently on the cause and circumstances of the deaths that occurred on Black Saturday. Those hearings happen at regular times over the previous months and will continue to happen. Currently they're investigating the cause and circumstances of some of the fatalities regarding the Kilmore East fire. In the week immediately after Easter, there were hearings on what the fire services have done in response to the interim report that came out in August last year. There are a number of witnesses that gave evidence or submitted statements on the various initiatives that the fire services, including CFA, have implemented in response to the interim report. There was a major statement by someone from the Department of Justice, a person by the name of Neil Robertson, that outlined the various policy initiatives that have been undertaken. Also, CFA and the other fire services have provided evidence to the Royal Commission directly on the various programs they've put in place, things like township protection plans, neighbourhood safer places, the new warning systems, emergency alerts, etc., all of the various processes that we've put in place. There was also evidence given by Neil Comrie, a former Chief Commissioner of Police. Neil was engaged by the government as an independent auditor or implementation monitor. His role was to act as an independent person monitoring whether in fact what we said we would put in place, we have put in place. And Neil's report was tendered and he was asked questions for 3 to 4 hours on the various programs. His report is available on the Justice website, www.justice.vic.gov.au, and is available for anyone to read. Also, John Haynes, Deputy Chief Officer John Haynes, gave evidence on how the fire services had implemented the various initiatives on the 11th and 12th of January this year, which were the first 2 Code Red days in various parts of Victoria. So John presented evidence on how the fire services prepared, which incident control centres had IMTs in place, and various other preparedness arrangements that were put into place at that time. Also in the week after Easter, Christine Nixon, the current head of the Bushfire Reconstruction and Recovery Authority and the former Chief Commissioner, gave evidence on 2 issues. She gave evidence on the recovery programs that she's putting into place as part of her current role, but she also gave evidence on her role on the day, and that attracted widespread media attention, and I'm sure you're across the issues to do with that. And she may be recalled. There's current press that she may be recalled next week to give further evidence on that matter. Coming up in the rest of April and into May, there will be hearings on a number of other systemic issues. As I've indicated, Phil Beasley will give evidence on information flow from the fireground up to the state level, right through the whole process. There'll be evidence given by CFA and DSE witnesses on resource tracking, also on our radio communications arrangements that are in place, and also there'll be evidence on aerial firefighting and the use of aircraft to assist in firefighting arrangements. So that evidence will happen through the remainder of April. Later in April, Stay or Go Revisited, there'll be discussion and evidence given on the arrangements and information to the public. Bruce Esplin, the Emergency Services Commissioner, will give that evidence on behalf of the government, and we'll talk about a broad range of policy initiatives from neighbourhood safer places to township protection plans to advice to the community, and we'll describe how that policy framework fits together. The last evidence, or the last topic that will be covered by the Royal Commission in late April and early May is organisational structure, and that will talk about the current arrangements that are in place, strengths and weaknesses that people may perceive in the current arrangements, and discuss potential future arrangements for the organisation of fire services in Victoria. There'll be evidence given by Penny Armitage, the Secretary of the Department of Justice, she will present the government position on that topic, on organisational structure. Also, Lex Deman, the General Manager for Yarra area for CFA, will be giving evidence on a number of issues around volunteerism and volunteers within CFA. The Commission are particularly interested in getting an understanding of how volunteerism works within CFA. So that'll be interesting evidence that Lex will give. The hearings will conclude on the 26th of May, so there'll be various submissions that will happen, but hearings will conclude on the 26th of May. Just a reminder of, if you want to follow how the Royal Commission's going, that there is a daily summary placed on CFA Connect as soon as we can, hopefully at the end of the day, but sometimes it's a little bit delayed, that will give you information about what happened each day in the Royal Commission, so you can get that through CFA Connect. Also, you can access the transcripts and the live video streaming of the Royal Commission when they are sitting on the Royal Commission website, royalcommission.vic.gov.au. Just a final reminder about welfare. If you have been affected by the fires or by the Royal Commission hearings, or you know someone who's giving evidence, welfare arrangements are in place. Please contact through your local region and arrange whatever welfare you think's needed, and we're happy to support those processes. Thanks for taking the time to listen to this update. I'll give you another one in about 4 weeks' time.